Hello everyone and welcome back to CasaCloud. Today we are going to understand a very important concept in Azure Kubernetes service, that is a node pool. In general terms, a node pool is a group of VMs, those having the similar configuration with respect to RAM, CPU and operating system and various other parameters. In this video, we'll also see the type of node pools, how do we select a node pool to deploy my application, how to add a node pool, how to delete a node pool. Let's first check where you can find all the commands that we're going to use today. So if we go to github.com/CasaCloud, we are following the Azure repository here in the AKS nodes. If you want to pull all the commands and source code in your own local, then you can just copy paste this particular repository, that is Azure code http copy, and you can go to your favorite IDE to just do git clone and paste it, and you'll get the entire source code in your local. Okay, so let's go back to the node pools. Okay, first let's understand what are the type of workloads that are installed in AKS, and then we'll bifurcate the workloads or the applications that are installed into which particular node pool it has to be. Okay, if you start with the control plane nodes, you might be thinking that the control plane node like API server and then the etcd, then we have the kube scheduler, and then we have the other components. All these components may be deployed in AKS in one of the node pools. Then the answer is no. It is all controlled by the Azure. Okay, so then what are the workloads that are managed by us, or those are inside the node pool that is part of the configuration? These are called as system workloads. Okay, so what are the system workloads? You must have heard about the core DNS and then the monitoring agent like OMS agent, and then we have the matrix server. Matrix server help us get the stats about the replication count and everything, which help us for the HPA, that is horizontal pod scaling and cluster auto scaling. All the data is present in this matrix server. So all these things are deployed inside the system workload, and for this we require one node pool, and this node pool should be deployed with the mode equals to system. Okay, and this is mandatory. I should have at least one node pool of this type to deploy these system workloads. So can I deploy my applications in this workload as well? The answer is yes. You can install your application, let's suppose application 1, application 2, you can install it. You just need to make sure that your VMs inside this node pool are capable enough to manage the system workloads, which are these ones, and also your application workloads. But it is not a healthy practice to deploy both in a same node pool. Why? If at all my application is taking much of the configurations, then that might block to the core system workloads to do their job. So what we do is we create user node pool. Okay, so the recommendation is in the user node pool, you should deploy your application, maybe app 2, and then as many applications that you have. Is this mandatory? No, it is not mandatory. You can have or you cannot have, but always the option is you should have it. Okay, for your application workloads. Second is the mode has to be set to user. Okay, so this mode has to be user, and then you need to install your applications inside it. By default, minimum when I create a AKS cluster, this has to be present. This one already taken care by Azure. So my core components are there, my system components have to be there, and then comes my user components. Okay, let's first check about how to create, or when I create a particular VM by default. Right now I've just installed one particular AKS. If I go here inside the AKS, if I'm opening this up, I can go to node pools. Here I see a node pool is created. The name of the node pool is node pool 1, and then the scale method is manual, and here if you see the mode is system. This is exactly equivalent to our system workload node pool. Okay, the mode should be system. Okay, right now there is only one node pool, and how many nodes are present inside that node pool? There is only one node right now present, which is not consuming much of a CPU, but I see high memory utilization inside this VM. Okay, let's go back to our GitHub page and let's follow from here. So if you want to create a node pool by ourselves, then there are some limitations that we need to adhere. That is, the name of the node pool should only contain the lowercase alphanumeric character and must begin with the lowercase letter. For Linux node pools, your length of the name must be from 1 to 12 characters. And for Windows node pool, it should be from 1 to 6 characters. This we are talking about the name of the node pool. Okay, so here my node pool name, what is my node pool name? It is node pool 1. This name have to be with this standards. Okay, and the last thing is all the node pools should be inside the same virtual network. It can be in a different subnets, that is okay, but it has to be present inside the same virtual network. So let's proceed. So there are two ways we can add a node pool to the AKS. One is when I'm creating a fresh AKS Kubernetes cluster. So if I'm doing that, so in the AZ AKS create command, I need to provide few details about the node pool. That is the node count, how many VMs I need inside that particular node pool. That is one. Node resource group. This is a resource group where all the nodes, that is the VMSs, because internally all the node pools are VMSs, and all the other peripheral components related to that node pool will be deployed inside the node RG resource group. Okay, and the size of the nodes, the size of each VM inside that node pool, as many VMs you create, all the VMs will have the similar size, and then my node pool name will be node pool 1. Okay, if I deploy this, I'll get something like this. I want to go back to the resource group. So the AKS is created inside the resource group 4. Here if I go, I can see AKS here, but can I see the VMSs and other things created? No, here we do not have it. But as I said in the configuration, that let's deploy everything related to the node pool in the node RG group. Here it has deployed all the things related to the VMSs. Firstly, this is my VMSs, that is AKS node pool this. Okay, inside if I go, I should see only one VM instance present inside there. Okay, so this is the one VM that we were talking about. And if I go back, there are few more things that are created along with this VMSs. That is, I have a route table created. This route table will point to the VM. This is the subnet in which the node pool is created. Okay, and here this is the VM where the routing is happening. If I see this next hop address, 192.168.0.4. It is the IP address of the VM of that node pool. If I go there, this is 192.168.0.4. If I go here, VMSS instance, this 192.168.0.4. This is how the routing works. And then to every agent, we have assigned a managed identity. What is a managed identity? Let's suppose I want to give some permission to the VMSS or to the nodes inside the node pool, maybe to pull the image from a Azure Container Registry. Then to whom should I give that particular RBAC? So the default approach is we should create a managed identity, and that managed identity should be attached to the entire VMSS. And then if we give the RBAC to the managed identity, then it will be associated to those VMSS as well. So if I see this particular managed identity is associated to resource, which particular resource? It is attached to the node pool that I have. That means inside all the VMs inside this particular node pool, this managed identity is attached. And then what are the roles currently associated to it? The role is ACR pool. For this ACR, that is Azure Container Registry. So what I'm saying is you should be able to, the VMSS, that means the node pool of AKS, should be able to pull the images from the ACR. So this is for just for your understanding how the ecosystem works inside the AKS. Okay, so this is the managed identity which is already created. Okay, and it is associated to this particular node pool. Okay, anything else? We have the load balancer, and then we have the public IP attached to it, and then eventually the load is always balanced to all the node pools. Okay, let's go back. How to list a node pool inside the AKS? This is the command. What it is? AZ AKS node pool list. I need to give the resource group, the cluster in which the AKS exists, -o table. Here we never give the node RG resource group. Here we always provide a resource group where the AKS is existing, because the front face of all the VMSs is AKS. We do not directly connect to the VMSs or to the node pools. We always connect through AKS. Okay, so this is my command. Let's go here. Okay, clear. My command list. I should expect only one node pool right now, which is expected. This is the node pool, and this is my system node pool. Okay, let's go back. List all the nodes inside the node pool. If I want to list all the nodes, we know, we just checked that is there is only one VM inside this. So this is the VM, name of the VM, it is ready, and there is no role. Okay, perfect. We already gone through what are the things which are created along with the VMSs or the node pool. So this is the captured snapshot of it. Then get the app pods present in the particular node pool. What we are trying to do here is we want to check what are the workloads that are already deployed inside a particular node pool. Then we can do kubectl get pods -a, that means get it from all the namespaces inside the Kubernetes. -o wide will give me also the name of VM to which the pod is deployed. Okay, let's see. So I can see all the pods that are deployed inside my cluster, and you can see here it is all deployed inside the AKS node pool 1, because we definitely do not have any other node pool right now. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's add a user node pool. So if I go here, this is the user node pool where I want to add. Before this, let's see one more thing. Here, if you can see, there are few CasaCloud front end and back end are deployed here in the dev namespace. So this is the namespace. So inside the dev namespace, there are few workloads which are my applications are deployed. Okay. And those are deployed inside the AKS node pool 1. Okay. Let's go ahead. Our final motto is to move the application workloads to the user node pool. For that, let's first create the user node pool. The command is AKS node pool add. I need to provide the resource group name, cluster name, name of the node pool. The new node pool is user node pool. The previous one was the AKS node pool 1. Now we are creating user node pool 1. I want only one VM inside that. The size of the VM will be same as of I have given inside the node pool 1. And then make sure you provide the mode as user. Okay. Because we are providing mode as user, the Kubernetes makes sure that it will never deploy the workloads like the matrix server and the other system workloads inside your node pool. Okay, so let's run and create a new node pool. It will take a bit time. Okay, so now the node pool is created. If I go and list my node pool, this time I should see 2 node pools, and this time we have the user node pool as well. So you may ask that, okay, if I already have the user node pool now, will my workloads, that is my pods which are currently present inside the default namespace, which are present inside the system node pool, will that shift by its own? The answer is no. It will never shift by its own till the time it is not destroyed. Okay, so and even if it is destroyed and recreate, right now there is no rule which says that you should not be deployed in system node pool or user node pool. Let's understand how should we allow application to deploy only in the user node pool and not to the system node pool. For that, we need to understand a concept which is called as Taints and Tolerations. Okay, what is Taints and Toleration? I need to add certain taint. Taint is, let's suppose I'm adding a color to a node and saying that till the time the pod is not having the same color as of the node, the pod cannot be deployed in that particular node pool. Okay, with the similar explanation, the taint says that I have a key value till the time your pod is not having this particular toleration, that is this taint will always be added to the node and a toleration will always be added to the pod or to the application. So I'm saying to my node pool 1, that is my system node pool, that let's add a taint critical add only equals to true, and then I'm saying no schedule. Okay, when I say no schedule, do not schedule anything from this time onwards to this particular node pool, and further from here deploy only those workloads inside this node pool which has a toleration of critical add-on only equals to true. Will I be adding that to my application workloads? No, I will not. That makes sure that the applications will never be deployed inside the system node pool, that is my node pool 1. But will that eject the current workloads that I have? No, it won't eject till the time I do not manually drain them from this particular node pool. Okay, let's first try and add this particular taint to the system node pool, which is node pool 1. What is missing? My resource group. Instead of my resource group, I need to switch to resource group 4. Okay, my node pool name is right. My AKS name is AKS1 and my resource group is resource group -4. Okay, so this is adding the taint to the system node pool 1. It won't eject any of my application workloads as of now, but no new application workload will be scheduled. This no schedule states that. Okay, who is listening to this? There is something called as kube scheduler which schedules the node. This tent is now listened by that kube scheduler, and that kube scheduler will no more schedule any pod to this particular node. Okay, let's see. Once the tent is added, okay, my tent is already added to the node. How do I check? Let's get the tent here of all the nodes. Okay, so this is a command, get node -o custom column a metadata tent spec.tent. I'm just creating a custom column called as name, where I'm putting the metadata.name, that is node name, and I'm creating a tent column, and there I'm mapping the specs.tent field. Okay, so this is a simple command that I've created. So I can see to my user node pool there is no tent, and to my system node pool, that is node pool 1, I have a no schedule set, and the critical add only equals to true. This is particular tent is set. Okay, so will that eject my pod? Let's see. Where is my pod list? Get pods, but I need to remove the AKS one now because we have more than one node pools. Okay, let's see. All my dev pods are currently in node pool 1. There are something in SIT as well. Those are also still in node pool 1. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see the selector right now. I just want to filter out a particular pod which is present inside the deployment called as CasaCloud backend -CasaCloud backend, which is present in dev namespace. I'm just using a JSON path query to extract the match label, selector match label. What we are doing? We are just doing kubectl get deploy minus and dev. If you see here the CasaCloud backend, I'm just extracting the match label, the label through which the pods are matched, and I should be able to extract those pods. So my label is CasaCloud backend. So with this particular selector, the pods are getting attached to the deployment. Okay, so because I have that CasaCloud backend as my selector, let me extract all the pods of this particular deployment. So I just have one pod, and which is deployed currently inside the node pool 1. Now let's add new replication. So currently if we see, there is only one replica count of this deployment. Let's add 3 more replicas or 2 more replicas to this particular deployment. So when this command happens, it will try to create 2 more pods inside this deployment, right? And now we have 2 node pools. One is system node pool and second is the user node pool. System node pool, we have already said no schedule from here, and we have the user node pool which doesn't have any tent, right? So my expectation is that the new pods, those will be scaled, will be definitely inside the user node pool. Okay, -o might -w is for continuous watching. You can see that 2 more pods are getting created, but this time these are getting created inside the user node pool. Okay, both are in the running state. Let me kill and just without -o wide, and this time we have 2 inside the user node pool and 1 inside the system node pool, that is node pool 1. I guess you got the clarity how I forced my application to be deployed inside the user node pool, right? But now you'll say, Alok, right now still there is one pod which is present inside the system node pool. I want to bring that to user node pool as well. So yes, we can move that. The simplest form would be I'll scale the replica down to 0. What this will do is it will destroy all the pods that are related to this particular deployment. And if I go at this point and see all the pods, those are all getting terminated. Okay, even though if those are in system node pool or user node pool, these are getting terminated. But then if I now create new 3 pods, so because of the rule that we have that all the pods should be created inside the user node pool, we can see that all the 3 pods are now created inside the user node pool. But this is a destructive way, right? We don't want to do something like this because this will affect my downtime. So what could be the right approach to do this? So one of the options to do this is to drain all the pods from the system node pool, making sure my user node pool is active. So we already had 2 replicas inside my user node pool, and if I drain my system node pool, then should not matter because there are 2 replicas that are already up and serving to my user, so that will not impact to the downtime. Okay, now I guess you understand how we have created, listed a node pool, how we shifted the workloads from my system node pool to my user node pool. So now let's see the process if I want to remove a particular user node pool. This could be for various reasons. I want to do some maintenance work, I want to update some kind of VMs, there is a new patch available. There could be n number of reasons where I want to remove that particular node pool. I don't want to compromise on my 100% uptime, and I still want to do my maintenance activity. Then what should I do? I need to do this process in 3 steps. That is, first I need to cordon nodes independently. So what is cordon? Cordon means do not schedule any new pods to these particular nodes. Cordon activity do not happen on the node pool level, which is the group of nodes. It happens only on the particular VM, that is a node level. What I need to do? First I need to get all the nodes inside a particular node pool. So get nodes, this is command kubectl get nodes -l agent pool equals to user pool 1. This gives me the name of the node which is present inside the user node pool. Okay, so this one I need to do cordon. So what is the command? kubectl cordon and name of the node. Let's clear and do kubectl cordon and the name of the VM. Let's see. Okay, the VM node pool is cordon. So my state now is I still have applications present. So if I go and check my applications, those are still running inside the user pool 1. Okay, so does cordon did anything to my applications yet? No, it did not do. Next is drain the pods from the nodes. What this will do? This will drain, in short, it will destroy or delete the pods which are present inside those particular node. So kubectl drain space name of the VM that I have space, and then ignore the daemon sets. Why daemon sets? Because daemon sets are the pods which are deployed to each new node that is added to the AKS. So no point of deleting that, and then delete the mtdir directory just for sake of caution. Okay, what this will do? This will drain, that means it will delete all the 3 pods and any other workload that is present inside this AKS node. Okay, let's wait for this to complete. But this will not happen because if I'm trying to drain my applications from this particular node pool, do I have any other node pool which is accepting the new pod creation? How many node pools that we have? We have the system node pool and the user node pool. We are draining the user node pool. and we blocked, that is no schedule true inside the system node pool. So this will never complete till the time it does not get a new node pool which is healthy enough to accept the pods. Okay, so for this what we need to do is we need to remove the tent given to the system node pool. The command is AZAKS node pool update resource group AKS node pool 1, which is system node pool, and remove the tent with the double quotes. So if I do this, okay, it is completed. Now let's see the labels. We can find it here, that is get labels of user pool 1. Instead of user pool 1, we'll do node pool 1. Okay, so right now I do not have any label here, which is good. Okay, now let's try again. And what is the status of our pods? Let's do clear kubectl get pods -a for the all ones. Okay, and I need to do -o wide so that I should see the name of the pool as well. So for my dev ones, it is still inside the user node pool. Okay, so these are the 3 user node pools that I have. Okay, these 3 with the user node pool. Now let's try draining it. Now let's try draining the application. So to drain the VM, it is kubectl drain. Okay, kubectl drain, and the name of the VM, let's get the name again. Okay, this is my name for the user pool 1. And what is my command? Kubectl drain name of the AKS node and space, ignore daemon set and delete the mtdr as well. Okay, it is already cordoned, and now it is started to evacuate the CasaCloud 3 replicas, and this is now happened instantly because now it has option to create these pods into some other node pool. Okay, so it is evacuating the pods from the user node pool and creating new pods inside the system node pool. Okay, let it complete. Ignoring daemon set, evacuating. Okay, this is complete. The node user pool is completely evacuated and drained. Okay, let's see kubectl get pods -a override. If I see here, now I have my dev pods 3, but this time again it is changed to the node pool 1, that is system node pool. Okay, this is how the drain works. And now because my entire user node pool is drained, what I can do is I can delete that particular node pool. How to remove the node pool? AZAKS node pool delete, and I give the user node pool here. Okay, here it is, and I delete the user node pool. Now because there is no pod left inside that node pool, so it is safe for me to delete that node pool and to do any of the configuration activities that I wish to do against the user pool. In short, I'll be creating a new user pool which will be based on my latest patches that I want to add to the node pools, and that's how I implement this part. Okay, let it complete. Okay, the user node pool is deleted. If I go to the UI, if I go to the resource group, back again, I should see only one node pool. Okay, there is only one node pool right now, and the node pool is node pool 1, which is a system node pool, and there is only one node inside it. Okay, and if I do same thing, if I want to just list a particular node pool, then what I can do is the list node pool command. This will again tell the same thing. So we understood in this particular video what are node pools, what are the type of node pools, how can I deliberately shift my applications to a particular node pool, what are taints and toleration, how does that affect on my scheduling of the pods/application inside the node pool, and what is the right approach to take a node pool down for any of the maintenance activity, and making sure that no downtime should be there for my application. Okay, this is all I wanted to share it to you in this particular video. In the next video, we'll try to understand the HPA, horizontal pod scaling, and also the cluster autoscaler, where we'll be scaling up these node pool. Today we just worked on one particular node, right, inside the node pool. We'll be now in the next video scaling up it from one node to maybe 5 node, depends on the requests that are coming on that particular node pool. Okay, so stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much.